Hi, Monica. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Yeah, great, thank you. And I'm so excited I could talk to you today because I had such a good time with this film. And I can
I
only imagine that you must have had so much fun making it.
so much fun. We absolutely loved filming in Mexico. It was just such a treat. Um, Diego Boneta is obviously from Mexico, so he's like the greatest host. Art imitated life. He really like gave the best tour um, of the city, and also Cancun. And Jonah Feingold, our director, was like also like as New York as you can get. And he was just like living it up in the Mexico sun and Cancun. It was just like we had such a great time.
Oh, how amazing. And of course, you're coming into this film, you're fresh off a huge hit with Top Gun Maverick. So, how exciting was it to follow a movie like that and then delve into a romantic comedy and also get to play a superhero at the same time?
Well, it was fun and like helpful that that I'd worked on Top Gun, because I think I used as much as I could of the experience of making that and some of the intensity of, stunt work and high concept and just like, epic tale telling, and incorporated it into her experience, and also just like the exhaustion that follows those days. And that's where you find like the scene where she's in the kitchen just like looking for any food. That was definitely us sometimes on set, or coming off set. So it was fun to kind of use that, but it also was a pretty huge pivot because the Phoenix character is not there to be necessarily like a romantic interest any more than you know just like a really great friend and one of the team, and all of that. So to have like romantic story unfold was also a lot of fun.
Yeah, I can only imagine. Firephena, she is a really fun riff on a superhero. So, what was it like getting to suit up and even just get a taste of what those big franchises must be like to work on?
I definitely learned a lot about. I don't think I had paid attention to this before, but when people say some of those suits are uncomfortable, Iffy, our wardrobe stylist, did the most incredible job making that design, or doing the drawings and then having someone make the suit. But yeah, they're no joke. And then you put them on and you're like, yeah, I could use a little butt pad. So we, had a lot of fun with that, and then also sort of making fun of the genre as much as I also am a fan of it. We just enjoyed sort of like poking at ourselves as actors and filmmakers. It was fun. We just had like a good silly time with it.
Yeah, I loved all of that. And I have to ask now, if Marvel or DC were to come calling, does that genre interest you as an actor, or did you
Yeah.
we almost have your fill in this film?
Oh, I mean, no, it was really fun to do. Um, I I absolutely. I mean, if the right part came along, absolutely. I also grew up, a fan of the material, and I I as a kid read more of like the Archie comics, but I was a fan of Wonder Woman, and of course Christopher Nolan's Batman's, and was all about all of the like Marvel characters, the Avengers world that they started to create, and I think they've just done a great job with it. The Spider-Man No Way Home behind you, had a great time watching that. Like I think there are some really incredible pieces that they've done. So yeah, of course.
Oh, I'll keep my fingers crossed for you. But going back to this film, there has been a resurgence of romantic comedies lately, which I think everyone has welcomed. So, were you a fan of the genre before you came on this project? And were there any maybe movies or performances that were in the back of your mind when you were approaching this role?
I love romantic comedies. I kind of considered it maybe a rite of passage as an actor to be in one at some point, so it just made so much sense to look for one, especially after doing Top Gun, which was like, so different. Um, uh, yeah, I mean, I always thought uh, Kate Hudson was so incredible in How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. Sandra Bullock's really great at it. Julia Roberts. Um, I mean, so, so many like it's funny because I think it's like an undervalued genre in a way, but the ability to be both like romantic and funny and you know, awkward at times, and you know, really emotionally poignant at others. Like I think is it does take a lot of effort. I think I maybe misjudged it as being easier than it is before stepping onto this set. But it was just a lot of fun. We were like making each other laugh and fall in love, and it was fun.
That's awesome. And I did find that the movie in some ways reminded me of La La Land, because as we follow this romance, everything seems to become very heightened around the two main characters and almost seems to affect the world around it. So what did you enjoy about exploring Sophie and Alejandro's unique dynamic in the film?
Well, I agree. I think there's this magical realism that takes hold that is just really fun to watch, because I think falling in love can feel like that. You feel like you're floating or, you know, dancing. You know, are they really that great at dancing, or are they just imagining it because they're so in love? You know, like I think all of those things are really fun to play with, and like, you know, you're making a movie, so it's worth bending reality in a way.
Yeah, for sure. And I love that back and forth between you and Diego, but also you and Anders as well. And I mean, would it be fair to say that Adam Clark probably ranks among some of the most insufferable exes you've ever encountered in a rom-com? Because I love the scenes you two have together.
Yeah, I mean, Anders had a really, I mean, he had a a challenging task, and he's so talented and so funny, and also like a writer director in his own right, so like he understands, you know, the call of duty, I guess. Um but but he did a really good job, I think, being someone that you don't want her to be with, but also like laying in just a few nice moments where you see why she was with him, so we don't feel like she's completely crazy. um he just did a lovely job of like still sort of charming her and being funny and being like, you know, trying to be his best self in a way that is at times insufferable, but also just like you kind of can't help but love him. And I think he just did a great job with that.
I couldn't agree more. And all the characters are great in this film. You know, Sophie
Yeah.
is a wonderful role, but we did talk a little bit about Top Gun. Phoenix was another fantastic role. So I have to ask, there was obviously a lot of talk. People want a Top Gun 3. Obviously, Maverick was a huge, huge success. So are you hoping to come back and continue playing that character if that film does eventually happen?
I would love, I would absolutely love to revisit Phoenix and get to be in her shoes again. To the extent that I believe they should make, you know, another movie right away. I think their patience in this particular, well, I mean, yeah, now it is a franchise. In this particular franchise, I I really respect that they've taken their time and been very in, you know, just like very intentional in their decisions with it, and you know, choosing to not make it until, to not make a second one until they had like new technology and a story they really wanted to dive into. And there's something kind of beautiful about 30 years going by, and using that sort of nostalgia, but also making a very, very different movie from the original. So I respect the time if that's what's required.
Well, I hope we
I'm
don't
just
have to
going to
wait
jump
that
in
long.
quickly. Sorry, I just want to jump in quickly. Mark, we're not quite done with this interview yet. Okay, great.
What's up?
Thank you.
Hello,
Oh, so
Monica.
diving in. Hello, Mark.
But I think that's a wrap for us, Monica. But thank you so much for your time. I had such a great time watching that midnight. Such a fantastic performance. Top Gun as well. And whether it's Firephena, Marvel, DC, certainly hope we get to see you in a superhero project eventually as well. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Nice meeting you.
You too.